you can't teach heart. You can't teach like grit.
And I tell people you can't teach effort.
You can't teach effort.
Right. A lot of people are coaching up different things, the technique and everything, but you can't coach effort.
Yeah.
And effort is within you. So that's a big thing that I always say. So you can't teach hard, you can't teach effort.
Double shoulder. Tell you can. You are undeniable.
What's your superpower?
You are undefeatable.
I got goosebumps.
You are the less than 1%. Even when it doubts you, you can't.
Your path is your path. Stay committed, stay focused, be disagreeable, optimistic, and relentless.
You are the less than 1%.
All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome to Less Than 1%. I am honored today. Normally I bring people in here that, I feel like we're equal. Today I don't know if we're equal today because he's larger than life. My friend, Hall of Famer, Miami, the U. Bryant McKinnie, thank you for coming, my brother.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah.
We're equal in heart, though.
Yeah. We already figured out that I got the heart. And we're gonna talk about that a little later. But you can't teach heart. You can't teach like grit.
And I tell people you can't teach effort.
You can't teach effort.
Right. A lot of people are coaching up different things, the technique and everything, but you can't coach effort. Yeah. And effort is within you. So that's a big thing that I always say. So you can't teach hard, you can't teach effort.
So I'm going to start the conversation backwards. Normally I talk to people, hey, where you from, what you did.
Okay.
I want to start backwards because we met the first time at a mental health conference.
Yeah.
And mental health is a passion of yours. So tell me more about it. How did that come to be?
When in the league, like a guy, Brandon Marshall, he was to me one of the first people I heard in my era who was speaking about mental health in the sports realm. And I listened. He had my attention, but then it really resonated when I retired. And like within the first 2 years of retirement, there was two other guys who retired around the same time as me. They were having I'm gonna say mental breakdowns. Yeah. And my family was close with theirs. I was close with them. And they would rather talk to me than their family, just because they feel like we could relate more because we both came from the same background, which is football. So I found myself going to the psych ward for one guy and sitting in there and visiting and talking to him and like, sheesh, I'm really in here. Like, you know what I mean? And then another guy called me before he did something that got him locked up, and I had to call my mom so she can call his mom and give a heads up. So it was like people were reaching out to me in a sense for help, but it was like I just needed more like resources on how I could actually help. So my mom, she was a part of the NFL Mom Association, still is. She had contacts with the NFLPA and who I needed to talk to, as well as the NFL, and she kind of led me to who I needed to talk to, and I had those conversations, and was able to kind of figure out how to get these guys help. I know they were sending them away to like Detroit, Jacksonville, to these like camps for like 30 days. But then I was trying to dig a little deeper, like what's actually going on in these camps? Because I know one guy went and then got out and then kind of relapsed again and went back. So I was like, well, whatever the tool is it really effective, or is it just like putting guys away for 30 days? Band-aid. Yeah, so it was like, it just got to that point where I was like, okay, when it happened, with these guys, I didn't really know what to do, but luckily my mom kind of steered me in the right direction with who to talk to. I just feel like I know a lot of people are probably in these positions. So then that's when I said, okay, I need to just start having these conversations. And I call them uncomfortable, making uncomfortable conversations comfortable. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's why you have to put certain people in those rooms. But I feel like the people I reach out to, I know them well, and I know their story, and they're able to kind of get on there and be vulnerable and open up and share, what they've been through and how they got past it. And I feel like that's very important because you want to hear from some people who've been through things, but then also been able to conquer it and move on. And the first year I did it, afterwards, like one of my good friends, and she's always got a smile on her face, called me the next day, I'm so glad you had this going on because I'm going through this, that, and the other. And somebody on the stage resonated with her, and she, just felt like, oh, wow, it's not just me. And I feel like a lot of people, when they're going through depression or things like that, they always think it's just them or they're the only ones who've been through it or going through it. And then when she was able to hear someone else, it made her kind of come to me, thank me for having it, and kind of share, open up. But I also spoke on my first panel as well and shared things that I've been through too. So I feel like by me being vulnerable and on stage sharing things, it made her okay to open up, and share with me too. I guess because sometimes people look at you like you don't got nothing, nothing ever happens to you, but when they feel like, oh, it does, like it's a different outlook. So I just realized how powerful it was, and then how much lighter everyone felt leaving the room. Everybody felt good being able to open up and express, and having that room where people aren't being criticized or judged for anything they have been through, and it was just needed. So I wanted to continue the conversation, and each year I have different therapists, I have doctors, I have reality stars. I always have a former NFL player, actor, actress, just different people who are of influence, but who I know I watched them throughout that year speak on mental health in some aspect,
right?
And I know that they're into it. So it's like, oh, let me reach out. And then normally they're somebody who's kind of close to me, so it's easy for me to reach out to them. And just have these conversations. I just feel like it's important. So I'm going on year 4 actually this year.
It's amazing.
So I'm putting this together again at the Hard Rock, at there, the same place.
Yeah.
So I've had it there for the past 2 years. So this will be year 3 there. But yeah, it's definitely needed. And then, like I said, the Vikings have always been like a sponsor for me. So they have been, ever since I started, they have been a big support and helping me. And then to the point where they've now brought myself and my team on to come speak to their players. And then this year they say, all right, we're bringing you back again for year 3. And we want you to speak to the players. And now we want you to speak to the staff as well.
Wow.
And I have such a good Dr. Tasha. She's very good at this, and she makes it very she just makes it a great conversation where everybody participates and you're willing to talk. Because my first year going there, with the young guys, I looked at how my age demographic was at that time, like with meetings, like, oh, we got this extra meeting, like I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
But those guys weren't like that at all. We ran over time because guys wanted to open up and talk and discuss things. And I said, this is a different generation. I feel like this generation does want to open up and share things. I feel like more of my generation don't want to listen. So it's like they don't really have anybody to kind of share things with, because it's like nobody's really listening. But when they have a listening ear, they're going to talk. And I learned that from that first year. And it's happened ever since. Like they're very open to discuss and get things off their chest and communicate. So I like that for them.
No, it's crazy because, we, when we, honored you at Vituti Cares, I'm listening to, a lot of people, not just Dean, others, but a bunch of people that are around you that you don't even know I knew. I'm like, yo, this is, because it's different. And I would say, even for me today, at this moment, like Kier Gaines, I don't know if you know Kier, he's a therapist. He's does a lot of celebrity therapy. And he's like, we met at a Dear Fathers event, and he's like, Moo, I want you need to get, you should do this too. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not talking about my feelings. So I'm in that generation too, maybe even a little before you,
right?
Where we just our job is to work and die,
right?
Like we don't ever talk about anything, and that's why I feel like I'm so, just enamored with what you do, because football is not a sport where the expectation, at least historically, the expectation is you're going to talk about how you feel.
Right.
Like I'm trying to hit people. I'm trying to win. And so I think that's a much needed, service that you provide. But let me ask you personally a little bit. Are there times now, we'll talk a little bit about, right, Hall of Fame career, amazing athlete. You actually, we'll talk a little more about how you, sort of went through a metamorphosis before you went to the U, to be able to, to be the best you could be. But are there times now, right, after that career, amazing career, which we'll talk about, where you're like, I'm sad today. I'm not my full self today.
I just went through that last month.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have your moments. It's always valley, hills and valleys and everything. So, last month I did. And the thing about it, I was traveling a lot, just on the road a lot. And then towards the end of January, I'm in the NFL Players Choir. They were reaching out and they were like, yeah, we want you to come to San Fran. And I was like, okay. And then my dad went to the hospital, and I was just like, And the thing is with that, my dad, my parents aren't people who go to the hospital. Like, they're never in the hospital.
Yeah.
Like, never.
Yeah.
I've never
Even.
My mom had vertigo like a couple years ago, and that was like about 3-4 years ago, right? But I wasn't present, and she didn't tell me. I had to find out from my aunt. Like, they're those type of people who they're so independent and like strong, things like that, that she didn't even want me to know because she didn't want me to worry. She felt like she'll be all right because she was in the hospital, whatever. I had to call her and say, "What you doing?" And then she was like, "I'm not there." Like, still continue, but I could hear in her because my mom is a loud talker, like just big personality, big energy. And I said, "What, you sleep?" Like, you know what I mean? But I just know that you're just tired, you're weak. But no, I'm just relaxing. I'm like, oh, okay, well, where you at? You know what I mean? But she still would just come forward and just say it. And then she eventually, after me just asking a bunch of questions, just said like, "Oh yeah, I was in the hospital." Well, I think I basically had to say it to her, like, "Well, I know where you are," like, you know. And she was like, "Oh yeah, well, I didn't want you to worry." And it's like, still let me know these things. But so by my dad going in the hospital, that's just something that's just like I'm not used to. So he went in and he it was for like he scraped his foot or something and it got infected. So he went in for that. And then they had to do like a surgery or something. And then, so I'm the only child on my mom's side, but my dad's side, he has other kids. So one of my sisters, she reached out. 2 different of my sisters was reaching out and like keep me updated. And then he had the surgery and then he was supposed to get out in a couple of days, but then all of a sudden had a fever. They kept him longer. And then it's like, they let him go about 3 or 4 days after that. He went home for 3 days and then it was like, went back in the hospital again. Something was wrong. He ended up having a blood clot. They had to have a surgery again. It was just like a lot going on. And then in the midst of that, because basically I felt like he was in the hospital the whole month of February. Like, it was like he was home for 3 days. He ended up getting out like the 23rd or something like that. Like, I found out on the 1st, you know what I mean? So it was like a long time. And then it's like, am I flying to Jersey? Like, you know, I'm trying to figure out, because every time I plan to go, it's like, he's getting out. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I ain't got to go. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just like a lot going on. But then in the midst of that, I found out one of the players, the team I talked to, one of the players from the Vikings, he committed suicide. Now I'm like on the phone with them, like, okay, this is not in season, this is off season. So how do we kind of combat this now? You know what I mean? And I'm on the phone trying to help playing with them as well. Like, so how do we do check-ins? Like what's going on with the players? How do you, because I've experienced this from the Ravens side because of, you know, when we had Jacoby Jones pass and we had Arthur Jones, they both passed away. I knew how the Ravens kind of did like a virtual thing where we all came together and we talked and we kind of expressed how we felt and how they organized everything. So I was just giving those clues to the Vikings.
Jordan's struggling over there. You want to drink some water, man?
It's like, just get it out, because you know when you be trying to hold it. So I knew how the Ravens operate everything, so I was just giving a heads up on what I was familiar with, and you know, so, things like that. And then after that, a teammate, Ronyell Whitaker, he had a brain aneurysm. He passes away. I find both of this out on a Monday. Ronyell passes away, and then the same thing. I have a friend, her name is Kara Braxton, a former WNBA player. I'm assuming they said she had a heart attack while driving or something like that.
Oh, no.
And passed away. So I found out both of them, and then my dad's like, all this stuff coming in one, and then, you know, everybody's my age, so then you start thinking about, Kara was only like 43, Ronyell, same age as me, 46. So then and then my dad's in the hospital, then you start, and just so happened that month, everything I was doing was focused on health anyway. Yeah. I said, I'm not traveling. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to have my Apple Watch on. I'm going to get these steps every day. I'm going to get these workouts in. I'm going to have my smoothies, put everything, like, so already, I just feel like that was confirmation from God. Like, I feel like already the things that I set my mind to do, like no traveling, just strictly workouts and hydration and everything to take care of yourself. And then all these things kind of was like happening. I was like, this is probably what I'm supposed to be doing, because to me, this is all just signs of just protecting and taking care of your health. And then, you know, when I got the opportunity, my head trainer from the Vikings, Eric Sugarman, reached out and was like, hey, we want you to come and, you know, try the TPE, which is the therapeutic plasma exchange and stem cells. I'm like, this is even more confirmation because this is all happening in February, and it's like just different things are coming to me that I felt like I needed. I feel like I know how to manifest things because I just was there's certain things I just feel like I need to get done, but I just have to figure out how to get it done. But I just feel like this is needed, was happening to me. But it was also like little something. People have to really pay attention to things that happen in life, and then like where you're at in life and the things that happen around you, because some of those things are kind of a direct message to you.
Yes.
But sometimes people overlook or miss the messages. But I was in the Word. I definitely, I'm in the Word. So it's like I just feel like I had more of a clearer vision because I took that time. I feel like I was just getting away from the Word, just being so on the road and being tired. So now I was like, build your fitness back up. I got my book with me, so I travel. I read it this morning, and I post in the morning when I read it.
Yeah.
And then even when I'm on the road, it's like, get your steps in. When I'm traveling to the airport, I was like, those are my steps because I'm walking about a mile and a half.
Yeah.
But even if I would have been here for like 3 or 4 days, I'm gonna have to bring a workout outfit because I have to get a workout in 1 or 2 of those days. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep the blood flowing, the mind going, and everything. So
there's a couple things that you said there that are a little different, I'm seeing your personality up front because a lot of times people only see people through social media or through the TV or through, it's just a glimpse of who they really are, which is why I think things like this are so amazing. But you said 2 things. You said one, and I've recently learned, this is what you just said to yourself about what happened to you is therapeutic for me because I just went through that. It's like last year, 2025. I was like, if you told me there were 3 people to talk to, I'd get on a plane and go talk to those 3 people. I mean, I was everywhere. And I don't think that I was depressed, but something wasn't right. Like I was just, and recently I was actually supposed to go to a big conference and I said no. And I was devastated, because again, that athlete mentality, you never say no. Coach is asking you to do something. And I said no, and my mood elevated. So the thing that you said is that you said no travel for a month or whatever. You're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna chill out, focus on me,
and pouring into myself because I feel like I was pouring into everyone else. Yeah, and I was depleting myself, but I wasn't taking time to make sure I'm good. And they say when you get on the plane, put your mask on first before you help others. And I feel like I was helping everybody else, and I was depleting myself and not being able to make sure I'm pouring in, pouring back into myself
again. You have to say that again on the plane.
They always say make sure you put your mask on first before you help others. And I feel like I wasn't doing that to a certain degree, and I was starting to wear myself down. And when you're tired, you're hurt, or you're sick, you're no good to anybody else. So you have to make sure that you're in the best shape to be able to get out here and continue to help. So I had to take time, self-care.
So the other part that I saw, at least watching you tell that story, you also never. I mean, I said, when are you down? And most people, like, you ask somebody, right, Jordan, when they're down, and you can feel their body language kind of slump because they're thinking back to that moment. But when I asked you that, you're like, yeah, I was down, but it's almost like it gave you more energy to really focus on the things that matter.
It did, because you have your down moments. You're down, like, because people say, I had a bad day. I was like, no, you had a bad moment. I had a period of time where I was down and feeling down, but I didn't make it home. I never tried to live there. You know what I'm saying? So I always tried to combat. When I knew what was going on with my dad, it's like, okay, you need to get yourself, together. You know what I'm saying? And then things was happening with my friends who were around my age. It's like, you got to go to the doctor. You got to make sure you stay on top of these things. So I was using those situations as life lessons for myself too. Like, okay, you got to do a better job and stay on top of your health as well, because you're not going to be helpful to anybody else. So even those things happen to other people, it also made me wake up and look at myself too in the mirror.
When how does that manifest for players? Because you have an expertise that none of I'm a physician. There's no experience that I can get with the type of situations that you've been in with professional athletes, specifically football. What do you see when you look at athletes even today? Right, you're not in the game now, but you're looking back into, you're helping, different teams with. The Ravens with mental health. When you look at the game today, what is causing in those athletes that sadness, that depression, that that moment where they're not the happy-go-lucky, catch a touchdown kind of players.
So what do I feel like is happening?
Yeah, like what's bothering them? What's the athletes of today? What would you say that
I feel like they're probably feeling like they're not achieving the levels that they want to achieve, or they might not feel good enough. Two things in life people are always going to desire is to feel wanted or needed. And if they don't feel like they're being an asset to the team, they feel like they're disposable and not needed. So that way they're trying to figure out ways, or it may make them just feel sad because they feel like, okay, I'm not being as helpful to the team this time next year, I might not be here, So then that starts to seep in their mind. But I feel like everything starts with your mindset. So instead of that seeping in your mind, make that your why and this is why I'm about to go harder, to go out here and train harder, watch film like even more, and perfect what I need to perfect so I'm not in that situation. But everything starts with your mindset. Some people can let that seep in, and that can take over their mindset, and they start to believe those ill thoughts. Where somebody else, like myself, is going to take those things and say, okay, this is the weakness. We got to strengthen the weakness and make it better. You know what I mean? So everything starts with your mindset. And that's why I say how you talk to yourself, because you be talking to yourself.
This is not therapy for me, sir. So that was off pre-show. I always joke. Well, maybe it's not a joke, but I always joke that I'm short. And like a lot of people see me now because I'm old, and they're like, "Oh, you're not no athlete," especially because I'm small. And he said this before when we met before. He's like, listen, you need to stop saying it. So as of today, I am beautiful and about 16. Right. Yes, sir. Yeah. So, and the reason I asked that question, my son and daughter both went down that college basketball road, right? They just love basketball. That's their thing. And have both been successful. I mean, they both got to play, right? Just every level you get to, I tell them, you're living someone else's dream.
Right.
Because some people just want a dream to get there. Once you get there, you want more. Right. But just stop for a minute and be grateful. But my daughter's team, I think they won 5 games all season. I think they were 5-26. And she lost, I think, 7 games her whole high school career.
Oh, wow. So that's a big extreme.
It's a big extreme. She's in the ACC. She's she's in your conference.
Right.
But just not a good situation. Now she ended up being first in assist to turnover ratio. She also ended up being 5th in assists overall. So she had a good year. Okay. But about that depression mindset is like, like, hey, you want more, you feel like you could have done better, whatever. It's sports is a tough road, man.
It is. And then also because of social media now, you have hecklers that can be in your comments and stuff like that. So I came at the tail end, like my tail end of my career was when, social media was around and, people, they can feel free to comment on your page about like your and stuff like that.
He missed that block.
Right. Yeah. So to have that is probably a different element too. Like if you're already feeling a certain way about your play and now you have an additional person kind of confirming how you already feel, I'm pretty sure that kind of can drive, these individuals crazy. Because, before, I remember Ray Lewis always say, I don't read the newspapers because I don't want to hear the highs or the lows. Like, what I'm saying? So I can just stay like this. But now if you have people that's coming on your personal social media, you have the choice but to ignore
them. Yeah. It's hard to ignore them.
So that's a different element too. And I always try to tell people, like, imagine somebody coming to your job and telling you they're doing horrible at your job. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But people feel like they can just do that to different athletes or entertainers in general. And it's like,
I say it all the time. And I'll comment. I write a lot about sports. I love the analytics of sports because I think sports is a gateway to life. That's all everybody's like, hey, you should use other examples. I'm like, no, I love sports.
I think it is. I feel like sports also teaches people how to work together collectively and then stay in your lane, like know your position and master your position, but know as a collective, our goal is to get here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like once people understand that, it normally kind of
But I think like if you back to the comments, and I got to think about this. You have people who have made millions of dollars commenting on sports. I'm not going to name them here because I might have them on the show later, so I don't know. But
I have a few that I probably feel like we're thinking about the same person.
I'm like, you played high school in that sport. maybe you sat the bench, you know, and you're going to talk about who's the greatest or like, I mean, I can have my opinion, you know, I mean, I think like if we talk about football greatness, I know because I grew up watching Barry Sanders at the running back position, you know, Jerry Rice and Randy.
And that's
you know,
the thing. I feel like greatness may look different to different people.
Yes, but the thing is, I just don't think, like, if you said to me, if I ask you, I'm going to ask you, besides yourself, who's your best, like, your greatest football GOAT?
Mine was, as a kid, was Reggie White.
Okay, so yours is Reggie White.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
In my mindset, I can't argue with you. Now, I can give you my opinion, but at the end of the day, you know intimately what it takes to be the greatest. It's just like you coming to me and saying, "Hey, Moo, I'm gonna show you how to reduce a shoulder." You know, like I'm gonna show you how to put that shoulder back in. Like you might have your opinion of what a bad doctor looks like, but you don't know necessarily the nitty gritty. So I feel like a lot of these broadcasters, like, I'm like, bro, where did you play? Like, just, you know, So going back to your playing days, well, I actually want to ask you something because you know this NIL is nuts now. This NIL is nuts. I'm in the parent end. I'm like, you got money for what? Like you didn't even deserve that. So do you end up calling Miami and telling them that they owe you money?
I know a lot of us probably wish we could and see where we at least be able to see where we would stand.
But there was a lot there was exchange of, you know, support for athletes back then at different places.
It was kind of tough if it was.
Yeah. You don't think some of those places were making
sure.
it?
I'm pretty sure that people was taking care of some type of way, but
not $2 and $3 million.
No, not that at all.
Yeah.
No, probably like somebody's rent or something being paid. I don't know, something like that, but not like not like 600,000 and up. Like no.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, with that, I do feel the school should be able to start educating the player and the parents on financial literacy more.
Yes, yeah.
Because now they're younger. Now they're starting to get kids in high school. So now you're like 17, 18, and you're coming to this. The parents aren't educated. The kid isn't educated. It's like you still got to pay taxes on stuff. Like you just have to educate everybody at a younger age, and I feel like that's very important because you don't want to mess things up for them so early, you know, chasing this NIL money. So I do feel like there should be a little control on NIL a little bit too, because I feel like it, to me now it's starting to look like free agency on the NFL. Like you're at this one team and this team offers you more money, now I can just go here.
And the thing is,
it doesn't show loyalty to me.
Yeah.
Well, like either. Like if you look at my class of guys who I was in school with, you had Sean Taylor, Ed Reed, you had the running back room was Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, and Frank Gore. Like NIL was there, then that team would have been dismantled, and then it's just like.
But you look at these transcripts, right? You look at these transcripts. You know, think you're applying for a job or whatever. You know, how many, you know, $100 million players are there out there, right? And then there's sort of everybody else. And so at some point, you're going to have to convince somebody that you're more than just an athlete, and you're giving in a resume with 8 different colleges on there. It's just, I just, you know, I think that it was a good moment. It was a good swing, but it swung a little too far, and it needs to come back.
It just needs a little control.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going back to my team. It's like I feel like they just built character with those guys. You know, playing hard to take somebody's job, and then the other player is fighting hard to keep his job. You know, it made everybody better.
Yeah.
This now is like, oh, I'm not playing like I want to, so I'm just going to transfer and go here, and I could probably start there. And this is like, it kind of gives like a brat mentality a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
I'm taking my ball and leaving.
Yeah, I'm leaving. Like I'm not a fan of it. And then when you get to the league, you can't do that. So it's like, and then also they don't show the flip side of going in the portal of. There's a lot of people that go in the portal, but everybody don't get picked up.
They don't get taken out of it.
Yeah, so they don't show. Maybe they should do a documentary on showing that. Like, a lot of people go in.
That's
actually because there's a lot of people that go in there thinking like, yeah, I'm going to go to this next school, and you don't get picked up.
Yeah.
All we hear is about the bigger transitions, things like that. But there's a lot of people that get lost in that portal.
So a lot of people, I think, come out of high school or at least go through high school, and it used to be this D1 or bust mentality.
Right.
Like this is the only way. I want to get my signing day. I want to have all the helmets and the hats, and then take the hat up, and it's it's going to be the U. But what I tell, that's not the best for every kid. And in your situation,
I didn't go that way.
You didn't go that way, and you were in the Hall of Fame, College Hall of Fame. So tell me about that. Like
mine. See, I'm very into the word, right? So I just feel like a lot of things that happened in my life were were ordained by God, So I grew up in a small town in South Jersey called Woodbury. It even sounds small, Woodbury. But, I feel like the last person who might have been pro in my high school was like somebody like, I graduated in 97, somebody like in 83, so it wasn't like relatable to us. We didn't really know him. So it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So I was playing because my friends was playing in high school. Like we were playing for fun. National sign, but we had a running back. I always give him credit. We had a running back named Lamar Sturdivant.
Yeah.
He played behind me. He was really good. And back then we didn't have the internet. You had word of mouth, or somebody had to send a VHS, thing like that. Apparently everybody caught wind of him. And till this day, someone from our area sent a VHS to the University of Iowa for Lamar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm on the film. So they watched Lamar, but then they said, but who is that? And I'm standing there about 6'6", you know what I'm saying? Who is this person? So I got their attention just, being on the film as well. I played defensive end at the time. So they came, and it was after National Signing Day, and they came to visit Lamar, but they said, but we also, this is the University of Iowa, but we also want to meet the young man that's on this film as well. And they're like, oh, that's Bryant. And they're like, yeah. They said, what's his plans? It's like, we don't know. Just probably go to like community college or something like that. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I didn't. It wasn't like football. Like I was getting recruited. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Small school. Nobody really got recruited like that. They were like, well, no, we want to offer him a position to come.
Wow.
But they said we're past our signing day, but we want to offer him a situation where he can go to a JUCO and learn how to play left tackle. So they had brought it to me, and I hated it. I just said Reggie White was my favorite player. So left tackle, like I don't even know offensive lineman at the time. But I was just like, if it's gonna give me a free, 2 years of school, I'm gonna just do it. And when I get there, I'm gonna try to convince them to make me play defensive line. So I get there and I try to like state my case on, but can I just play defensive end? Because that's what I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
But then I learned, in order to be successful in life, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's where I learned, okay, if you want to do this and you want to make it far, we're suggesting you do this, and that's play left tackle and learn it. I'm not left-handed, so everything I had to learn. I had to learn everything out of a left-handed stance, do everything like from that standpoint. I'm never doing this ever in my life. And I go there, and what's crazy about this situation, I never even realized it until I went back to my JUCO, and I talked about 2 years ago to the students that are there. And I didn't realize this until one of them asked me. But I went there, never playing a position, never really like lifting, having a weight program or nothing. Learning a position against a guy who was a JUCO All-American. So the defensive end that I practice against every day, he was in his sophomore year. He came back as a JUCO All-American. It's me, never playing this position, still trying to fill out. I'm 17 years old. I turn 18 when September comes, but I'm just learning, just trying to figure things out. And he is lighting me up every day.
Wow.
While I'm trying to learn from a left-handed stance, learn the position in general that I've never played. Oh, he just, for the first like month and a half, just was doing whatever. And then just one day it clicked. Like, because I would go home. Or I'm going to tell you another thing too. When I first went out for football, my grandma, I played basketball all growing up. So I wrestled. My mom had me wrestle first to learn like discipline. And then later on, she put me in the basketball to learn to work with others. Because I told you I grew up as the only child. Yeah. So I played basketball basically from elementary all the way to high school. I didn't play football till high school, so 9th grade. And when I first went out for football, my grandma was like, you should stick with basketball. She was like, you're not going to like it. She said, I could just see you just coming back to basketball. And that right there, I never wanted to make her be right. So even though I had moments of like, I don't know if I do like this, I would hear her say, you ain't gonna like it, you'll quit and go back to basketball. And it was like, nope, get up. So that was always in my head, So when I got that scholarship to go to the JUCO, I had reminded her. I said, "You remember you said I wasn't gonna like it?" She was like, "Yes, I'm proud of you." So now I'm going through all this stuff, and I had days where I was like, "I don't know, I don't know if I want to do this." Having headaches and stuff like this, going against this guy every day. I'm trying to learn this position, and I just hear her like, "Yeah, you're not gonna like it." I was like, "Oh, get up and just go back out there anyway and just figure it out." And I finally figured it out and was able to just stop him in his tracks. And then from there, it was like, that was it. And then after that season, I became a JUCO All-American.
Wow,
but I had no choice. I went against this guy every day in practice. So the games was going to be a little easier because I figured him out. So now it's like, so then that's what I never realized is in 1 year, I went and learned something that I never did before and became a JUCO All-American. So that's what the students like, you never played a position, you became a JUCO All-American. I'm like, I never even thought about it, but I was so like in tune trying to figure out how to stop this man, you know what I'm saying, to do my job. I was so in tune, like, no, I got to figure out how to stop him. Like, be at home just trying to figure out, like, watching his play and like, what am I doing wrong? Like, just really figuring it out until I figured it out. And then, and this just tells you how God works too, because how this random person mails in a videotape of me, and then they spot me and they come give me a scholarship. To now, I have a letter of intent signed to Iowa, and no one can talk to me. You know, I finished the season JUCO All-American somehow, and then Hayden Fry, the head coach at Iowa, retires after my first season there. After my first season there, he retires. So now, all the schools can come talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because now they made my name on the JUCO circuit, and now I'm going back in as, you know, a sophomore as a JUCO All-American, and now schools can talk to me. So now I'm getting letters from different schools, and I'm able to set up visits. But just look at the timing. Look how, like, God operated and did that.
Yeah, makes no sense. I mean, it makes no sense, and that's why it makes sense.
Right.
Right? You know?
Like, I mean, that has nothing to do with me. That's just like, look at the order and the timing, how everything just happened. And now I'm in a position where he retires, like, you know what I mean? After my first year, and
he set you up.
And I'm in a position, right, and then I'm in the position I'm in, and then now it's like, you know, the new, you know, crew, they come back and they're trying to honor it, but I don't have to now because it's like, my intent was with him. I don't even know this new regime of people at all. Frank Verzucci, he is the guy who came to my high school and met me and got me to sign a letter of intent for Iowa. And I later on seen, I don't even know we ever officially met, like, after that again. He later on, we were playing against the Cowboys when I was in, like, the league. He was on the staff for the Cowboys, and I was like, Dad, this is Frank. Like, I seen, because I always look at the media guy when I was getting dressed. And I'm like, this is Frank. I'm like, how can I, like, I wanted to figure out, how can I see him? But it was like, there's no way I'm able to see him, but I was able to see that he played. That he was on the staff for the Cowboys at one point too. But it was just.
Have you ever found him or reached out?
I haven't. I don't even know how to find him. Like, I have no clue.
I feel like we got to find him now.
Right, but he's a big part of. He's the one who talked me into playing left tackle, and then when I got to the JUCO, they stayed on that of me playing left tackle, but. Basically, then that opened up my opportunity. I went to Rutgers. I went to Syracuse. I went to Arkansas. Came to Miami on the visit, and ended up in Miami. And that kind of, those things just kind of happened. That's why I say God kind of just led me there.
Yeah.
And God keeps leading me different places in my life still for me to be in situations that I'm in that I don't foresee for myself. But then, like, He just places me here, and I'm just kind of just.
You made fun of me earlier. And a couple years ago, but you got a little bit of what I got.
What?
Like, every time you talk about what you did, there's two things that come out for me. Like, one is hard work. I mean, hard work. Yeah, you're violent about making sure that you do the best you can, but you also give a lot of other people credit. Like, every story you've ever told me there's someone else in there that has given you an opportunity or motivated you without them knowing, or right? I mean, so you I feel like give a lot of people credit.
They played a role in. If it wasn't my grandma saying that, now I was like, yeah, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Like that just gave me motivation.
His grandma. So do you hold grudges? I mean, I know you try not to. I'm give you that, but in your mind, if somebody says, "Man, that,"
I probably do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that, I didn't like it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to prove it wrong. So, and I feel like, I was able to do it, like, so every step of the way. So then when I got an offer to Miami, I reminded her, like, Grandma, remember, like, even to the draft, I was in New York. I did. Oh. Listen, even down to the Super Bowl.
Hold grudges.
I do, because, listen, it was not in a bad way, I guess, right? But when we won the Super Bowl, my grandma was the first person to found me out of all my family. She ran the field. And I said, Grandma, remember?
You remember
I
what you
keep
said?
bringing it up. And she's like, yes, I'm so proud of you, like this and other. But every level I went, I always will mention it. Even to induct to the College Hall of Fame, I was like, Grandma, like, it's just a thing. And I wanted her to be there. She wasn't really willing to travel at that point now because of, like, COVID.
Yeah.
My grandma's still here, too, at 90 years old.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
She, during COVID, because that was like 2023 and like a little bit after COVID, she wasn't really a big fan of getting on flights no more. Yeah. She was like, oh, no, but, because I wanted her to be there so I could just say, remember? But,
so, you have amazing players. They have rivals. You got
my grandma.
Yeah. Bryant McKinnie's greatest rival is his grandma. That's the lady. He went, you get into the College Hall of Fame. Michael Jordan's speech, in his Hall of Fame speech, he's like, oh, this one, that one, that one. Bryant's like, you remember, Grandma? You remember what you did to me? That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
That was my why I kept going, though. Just I was like, I'm not going to make her right.
Yeah. Who's the best player you ever played with? And I know that's hard because a lot of them are your friends. But
best player that I played.
That you ever played with. College.
That is hard.
NFL.
It's hard to pick one. I was blessed to play with a lot of great players.
Yeah, Ed Reed, Randy.
Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, Brett Favre, Adrian Peterson.
Wow, that's
tough.
Like a Hall of Fame list right there.
That's a tough, like, who do you pick out of? Like, them 5 right there I just named, like, who do you pick? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You still have guys like Terrell, like, you have some Jared Allen, like, you have some good players that would be hard.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna say that's pretty hard.
But then you got to even go back to college where you have like Frank Gore, like, you know what I mean?
Oh God.
And then, like, you know what I mean, like guys like Frank Gore and Vince Wilfork and all those guys that were, my college teammates. So it's a lot.
The best you played against, because that battle is a heavyweight battle.
Yeah,
it can be. I always give this one person credit because he helped me in pass protection. His name was KGB, Kabir Kabaja Miller.
Oh, okay.
And I was young, and pass protection was supposed to be my thing, but I met up him. I'm like, who is this? Like, he just was very fast, slippery, and just, he was a veteran, so he kind of knew, that's how I was,
speaking of young,
looking. Yeah.
Tell me about this. Everybody see that. Tell me about this guy.
Yeah, that guy right there definitely was like thinking and studying something, like looking, trying to figure out. That's definitely a thinking face. Like, what is this? Don't look like I'm too happy to be there either. But I'm definitely thinking. I can tell by my facial expression. I'm looking at it. There's a teaching moment, and I'm trying to take in what's being said. And I'm really focused in.
How different is this guy from this guy?
This one kind of like just knows. Has way more life experience, so there's just more things that I know about myself, how to take care of my body better. This is just a young kid that's still trying to figure it out, just becoming a pro, trying to figure out how you become a successful pro. Like, it's a lot more that one has to figure out. So
you believe, obviously, you talked about your faith. You've talked about different moments in time, and that's the book I'm writing right now is about moments, right? It's about the moments that go well, but then we have a lot of people that I think missed out on their greatness because the moment went a different way. But you got to have some regrets over the you had an amazing career, but is there anything that you would go back and change?
Yeah, I would go back and fix some things, like even down to like me wearing gloves. I didn't used to wear gloves, and I done broke my hand twice. Things like that I would have definitely wore earlier.
Yeah.
I would have games where my hands were just so sore and just tore up from keep using them and then not having gloves. There are definitely some things I would go back and correct.
Yeah. Any major decisions that you made?
Probably wouldn't have did that boat party in Minnesota. I probably wouldn't have did that because I was actually considered as a good guy prior to that, and then it's like when that happened, it's like, oh, yeah. Because I feel like in football, especially during that era, you were characters. Basically, you were the good guy or the bad guy, and I was definitely the good guy here.
Yeah, this guy's great.
And then when the boat parties and all that stuff came out, then it was like, oh, maybe he's a bad guy. So if you ever looked at like the WWF and all that type of stuff, you have your good guy, your bad guy. Yeah. So if you have people like Warren Sapp, they look at as like that's the bad guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But then you have like a Tom Brady who's a good guy. Like
and sometimes not justified. Sometimes
it's not. That's just how it's portrayed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it may not actually be accurate, but that's how things are portrayed.
Yeah.
So and that's only what they air. A small glimpse of the light that is being aired until you see something later on social media come out, and it's like, oh, this is that person. But yeah, I feel like it shifted a little bit then for me. And then I want to say I held this grudge. The Pro Bowl situation, I held this grudge because, and I did, and I ain't gonna lie, because he kind of did me wrong in that situation, and he ended up getting fired. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of happy, like that's what he get, that's his karma, because. During the Pro Bowl situation, we played in the NFC Championship against New Orleans, and we ended up losing. That season, I had plantar fasciitis where I had like a tear in the fascia, and it ended up being in one foot and ended up spreading to both, and having in both feet. And I never get like a torn off shot. And I got it for that one game when we played the Saints, and I was like, I'll never get this, but I got the torn off shot just I guess so I could numb it or whatever.
Yeah.
We played in that game. And we lost, unfortunately, and then I had to go to Miami for the Pro Bowl immediately. So we go straight there, and I get there like on maybe like a Monday or Tuesday, and then I go to the first day of practice. I totally forgot I took the torn off, so like by Wednesday it wore off.
Oh,
so now I'm like, and I'm not taking it again. Like, I'm not taking it again for no All-Star game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then I was just like, I don't know, y'all. Like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore because. In my mind, I did actually forgot I took the shot, and by come Wednesday, it's now wore off, and my feet are killing me. And they're like, okay, so they're like, well, you don't have to do an exit physical, and we'll bring somebody in. Fine. So they call me, come this time to come do the physical. All right, I'll be there. I go do the physical. The man hits me like, hey, I'm sorry, I went out to dinner with my family. I'll be back at this time. All right, I'll wait because I'm supposed to go out to dinner too, but now I'm going to wait. He calls me again and then pushes back again, like, hey, running a little late, this and other. I'm like, look, I'm hungry. I'm about to go out to eat. So I go out, and then I don't know when he comes back. I guess he comes back at some time. I don't really know. I go out, and once I'm out, I stayed out.
Yeah.
And I went to bed the next day, and I said, I'll just see him in the morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I go out, stayed out, hung out, and I said, I'll just see him in the morning. By the time I come in the morning, it's like, I don't go to practice because I'm like, we've already had a discussion. I'm doing the exit, so y'all need to be preparing to bring somebody in. So no, I get up the next day and I go down there like, oh, you were supposed to meet me last night. I said, I don't even know when you got back. Like you had me keep delaying, waiting on you to eat. Like you should have seen me before you went out to eat. But now you got me waiting. So now I'm hungry. Now I left. So, well, you were no show for practice. I said, you know I wasn't coming. Like we just had it back and forth. But basically, I ended up not leaving. I mean, I ended up like getting out, but it was like. It made it seem like I just didn't show up to practice, but there was a whole conversation between me and you. And I followed him because I knew he came from out here. He was with the Cowboys. And I seen like the next year he got fired. I said, that's what he get. Because he should not have did it. Like he knew what was going on. Like you knew what was going on. And you allowed it to go out in the media like as if I just was out partying and didn't show up. When you knew we had a whole conversation, but you're not like being accountable and saying, well, I did delay him like 2 different times. I told him to come at this time, then I wasn't available. I didn't show up because I went out to eat. And then I told him a time, and then the time came, he's there waiting again, and I'm still not back. So now I'm like, bro, you gave me 2 different times to come. We've talked about it, so do whatever you got to do on the other side to get somebody else in. But we clearly know I'm not playing. I'm trying to get out. Like, So no, I'm not being urgent to get up and go I'm going to get up now when I get up, and I'm gonna come see you because I feel like that's how you handle me.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know if he got picked up by anybody else. It was afterwards, but when he got fired initially, I was like, good, that's what he get.
Yeah,
I feel like it was like maybe a year later.
I think this list is getting longer the longer we go.
Because he shouldn't have did that. Like
sometimes it's good energy grudges. This is a bad energy grudge.
The fact I still remember it.
I remember. I mean, I've said this 100 times on this podcast. Like I remember everybody's name.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, and I go visit them. You know, when something happens, and to your point, like something good happens, I'm like, hey, just want to let you know you were wrong about this.
Right.
Because I want them to see the impact that they,
mm-hmm.
they could have had if I didn't fight back, so to speak. You know what I mean? So then you're not answering my questions, so I got to figure out new questions. So how about, no, I'm just talking about the greatest player. You didn't want to. The greatest player you ever played with.
I just gave you like 5 or 6. I don't know. It's like,
okay, who's the greatest leader you played with?
You have 2.
Okay, let's go.
One for the Vikings. I'm gonna say is Brett Favre.
Okay,
because he came to that team, and he made.
It's kind of on the in the fans' mind. He was on the downturn. Yeah,
but he had one of his best years ever with us. But he also was able to make everybody around him raise their level of play up.
Wow. Wow.
And I realized that because, guys were playing okay, but when he came, nobody wanted to let him down. And if you have that type of impact, you're a true leader. And if you paid attention, Tom Brady, when he was with New England and be able to go to Tampa and all of a sudden take him to the Super Bowl, that means he was able to get in that room and make everybody raise their level of play up. Because the same guys were there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He just came in and they just rose their level. Certain people can do that. So if Minnesota, he did that, and then Ray Lewis, people don't want to let him down. Yeah, and they're going to raise their level of play up. But Ray Lewis will come around and he going to pray with you before the game. He going to put the oil on your forehead. He going to do like a lot of things.
Wow.
So he's really in tune. I used to call him a prophet because what's funny is when I was leaving the Vikings, he was like the first person. He was one of the first people to reach out. I was like, "Oh, you're coming here," and I'm like, "Hold on, let me see what else is out there." Nope, everything he said, "You're the missing piece. You're gonna help me get this confetti so I can retire." I'm like, "All right, well, hold on." But I got there and I ended up becoming like one of the key pieces for them in that playoff run for the Super Bowl. But the year before, also, we went to the AFC Championship. It's my second time being in the championship game. I'm like, and I ain't win again. Like, I ain't get to the Super Bowl yet. Because you remember, NFC was Brett Favre, we lost. Then my first year in the AFC, the Ravens, we lost to New England. And they said Lee Evans didn't make the catch.
Yeah,
and then the kicker, I don't know, he wasn't really like in tune to the game. He kind of missed the field goal at the end, so we ended up losing. After that game, Ray was supposed to retire that season. After that game, Ray said, "Don't hold your head low. We'll be back in the same situation next year." I'm like, what's the odds of us being back in the AFC Championship in New England next year? That's what I'm thinking to myself. And then but I also thought to myself, that means he ain't retiring because he's talking about next year.
Yes.
And then I look up, the year later, we're in the same position. After we beat Denver on the road, who we weren't favored to beat. Once we got past Denver, and all I heard was him saying that in my thoughts was, and we're gonna be back in the same position next year. And I realized we're back in the same position. I said, there is no way in the world that we're gonna lose this game.
Yeah, at that point.
Like, I was like, this man is a prophet, because we are definitely back in the same situation that I, in my mind, was like, yeah, right, what are the odds? Like, what is the line up? And we're here. Yeah, so from there I was like, nah.
Yeah, he did a selfie video for By Tootie Cares. I don't know if I didn't play that on. I haven't played that video yet. I think I did it online, but he did this inspirational. It was actually COVID.
I think he's gonna be a pastor later on.
Yeah,
I thought he was.
No. Listen,
never. I feel like he's going to head there.
So he basically sends an email, friend of a friend, and I put like 5 words in there, like how to say Vituity, and that we're a healthcare company, and I said they need motivation. Like, COVID is going crazy. They're risking their lives. And the video was like 10 minutes with all kinds of stuff. And he was like, listen, Vituity, You got it. I mean, he's got all this energy.
Yeah.
And you listen to it, and you kind of want to like. I'm not playing for you, but I feel like I'm playing for you. Like I got to go do some stuff, put on my white coat. I'm like, go to work, So yeah, he's amazing.
So Brett Favre and Ray Lewis, I have experienced are two different people who can make you move.
So besides grandma, who's the influence in your life where you can look back and say, I know there are many. You've already identified a bunch, but is there one person that you could say, this is, so I'll give you a background, right? So I write about Bob McKillop and Steph Curry. Like Steph, I love Steph. You're amazing. Steph may end up, if he ever wins another championship, he's going to start being in different conversations. But Steph takes a lot of bad shots that go in. Like if you know the game of basketball, you're not allowed to take a lot of the shots. Now he ends up making a lot, but he misses some of them too. But Bob McKillop was his coach that said, you know what? You can take those shots if you work on them. If you show me that you can make them, I'm going to let you take them. And that freedom gave, I haven't had the opportunity to ask him, but I think that kind of coach gives you permission to be your best self. Right? As opposed to a coach who's like, hey, don't do that. No. He's like,
because I'm going to say this real quick. Ryan Tannehill, when I first got to the Dolphins, I felt like he was trapped and so focused on listening to what the coach says and doing the proper things and not just being an athlete and going out here and just making plays that he could have made. And then when he got to Tennessee, it was like I could tell it's a different coaching style, and the coach allowed him to be the athlete he is and just go out here and make plays with your feet sometimes if you can't with your arm. So I can identify what you're talking about is based on the coaching.
Yeah. But if you have somebody like that who you can look back and say, wow, I would have never been the player or the man I was if it wasn't for this individual.
It would have to start back at least at junior college, because that's when I really started. High school, I just did it for fun, but then in junior college, having to learn a whole nother position, and then it's like, now I'm trying to be good at it because I'm not trying to keep getting busted in the head by this guy every day. I had my offensive line coach named Al McElroy. He, remember I told you I didn't come from a school where we had a whole weight program.
Yeah.
The team would lift together after practice. I would go home and do my homework. He would come pick me up like around 6:30, and I would go to his house. He had the whole gym downstairs, and he would personally train me and teach me the proper technique on lifting weights and doing everything. So that helped develop the physical part for me, right? And then when it came to pass protection, he always said this thing to me. He says, in pass protection, somebody might swat your hands, do things like that. He says, but if you keep, you move your feet, you can't get beat. So even though your hands are getting swatted, keep your feet moving and stay in front of them, you can eventually be able to replace them. So that was something I always kept in my mind. Move your feet, you can't get beat. Because a lot of times when people's hands get swatted, they stop immediately. And it's like, why'd you stop your feet, though? Just because your hand got swatted. But it's like, even though my hand got swatted, just keep the feet going and keep your body presence in front of them and just recover. So I feel like a lot of things, I just feel like being in junior college in general, it was
your training ground.
Yeah, it just gave you a foundation of being tough. I never missed any games in college, pros, nothing, due to injury. Wow. And that all stemmed from junior college.
And Toradol.
I never took Toradol. I took Toradol once.
I'm talking about that.
I took that at one time because I was so just I was not really with Toradol like that, because I see it was like all this small print you got to read. I mean, I'm not really doing this.
Yeah, Toradol's not that bad. I think though that what I love about you and your story, and we all know people, who don't remember the times where they weren't Bryant McKinnie, weren't Moo Tomlinson. And I think the people that go back, not necessarily go back and visit, or you may not know them, but at least in your head, acknowledge
remember
that they were a part of your story when you were nothing, when you were nobody. Because I feel
like part of development.
if people want to help you now, if people call Bryant and say, "Hey, man, I want to help you," you don't really know if that's real. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like a brand new person, you don't know if that's real. But when they want to help you when you're nothing, there's because they've helped a lot of people in those positions that didn't make it, and they still put that same effort into them. Yeah. So All right, I have the magic question. This is only we only do this on less than 1%, I think.
Okay.
What is your superpower?
My superpower is I'm able to bring together different personalities and kind of make everybody kind of mesh and kind of somewhat kind of get along, get to know each other. Like I'm able to, I don't know, one of my superpowers, networking is one of my superpowers too. But I feel like I'm able to, some people who wouldn't normally be around each other, and I can just look at my friends.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different friends who wouldn't normally be in a room with certain people, but because they're all
You're
friends
the
with me,
connector
yeah,
to all of them.
they're all there, and then they actually get the opportunity to get to know each other from there, and can some people are have formed friendship and relationships as well. So I just feel like my personality to be able to bring people together.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So part of this show is we call somebody, anybody you want to call, and, you know, obviously let them know you're on a podcast. And then, you know, I take the mic and ask them the same question, and we'll see what they have to say. Right. So who you think? I'm
going to call my mom. I'm going to see what she, I really want to see what she wants to say.
Okay, just headphones when you get her on there.
Okay.
Because you'll be able to hear them through the mic and through the headphones.
Okay. That's what she answered.
Here, take the earphones.
Bluetooth. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, you won't be able to hear her unless you put the earphones on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mom. Are you asleep? Oh. So a question. I gave you a heads up.
You can use the mic.
Oh, I gave you a heads up that I'm on a podcast, right? So they have a question to ask you. They just want to see what your response is going to be.
Hi, how you doing? Sorry to bother you at work. Good. So
you don't sound that excited.
I gotta be serious at work.
Oh, okay. She's happy. She has this part-time job. She finally got a job after 20-something years, and she just needed something to do. So she's so happy that she's at work. Like, right. I'm at work. It's like, no, go ahead.
Okay. So the question is what do you think Bryant's superpower is? Yeah. What is the thing that that he does the best, or that you know.
Besides being a left tackle.
Well,
career besides that.
Yes, besides that.
Let's see. Okay, so like me, if he's gonna be your friend, like, you know what I'm saying? He's a good friend. That's where he takes that from me.
Shout out to myself.
Yup. Darn Skippy. And yeah, he's a good friend. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's your all around guy. Like, if he needs something, he there. But just don't take advantage, because people will do that.
Yeah,
then I gotta come to bat.
He said that he said his superpower is that he's a connector. That he brings people together.
Yeah, he do. Yeah, like his mom, he does.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
She's making this about her.
Okay, so Mom, I guess that we're having you on the podcast next, clearly.
Yeah, I'm a connector. No, for real though, he do bring people together because I be using his people.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Sorry to bother you at work.
Thank you. You get back to not doing any work at work.
I'm at my job that I love. Right, Linda?
You can get back to doing no work at work.
Be quiet. Same-day surgery.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Good talking to you.
No worries. Bye.
All right, bye. Oh, that's hilarious.
So she kind of said something similar, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of. She was talking about her superpower.
Right.
To be honest.
Well, we got the same superpower. That's what she was saying.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, honestly, there haven't been too many people that have been off.
Oh, really?
Most people call their, call their family member, and they're right there. LT, everybody.
Oh, that's good.
It's kind of a cool.
Yeah.
But if I tell people I'm going to do it before the show, then I feel like people are going to set it up.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you kind of have to catch them off guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I was happy with the answer she gave. I like, it's close enough.
Were you nervous?
I didn't know what she was going to say. I was like, what did she want to say? She was like, what, left tackle? I'm like, not that.
Yeah. So back to, I think you're always, as an athlete, thinking about health. And I think, as you
the thing is, I think when you retire, because I'm going to say this, when I retired, I was I don't got to weigh in no more, like, because you got to weigh in every week. So I'm like, two things I ain't feel like doing was traveling, because you got to travel every other week, and then weighing in. So I was like, I'm not working out. That went for like a year, and I was like, tying my shoes, like,
really?
And I was like, oh no. So I had to start doing things like, I was doing group activities. So one of my friends had a boxing gym. I would do something called Fitness with Friends. Yeah. And I would like basically post his gym and say, come work out with me, basically type of thing. But I was doing it like to help him, but it was also really helping myself. Yeah. It was holding me accountable to get back in here and get these workouts in, and also encouraging other friends to do it with me. So I was doing that on Wednesdays and Saturdays to get myself back going. And then I was in the gym, and I ran into my tennis instructor, and I had met him. He had like a Florida shirt on. I had mentioned something about Florida. He was like, he plays tennis. I said, I'm trying to take lessons. Yeah. Since I met him, every Friday. For sure, every Friday, as long as we don't get rained out, I'm tennis lessons. But now I've incorporated that more, and I take the men's clinic on Wednesdays and on Saturday mornings. But I feel like a lot of people don't stay into the health aspect, and they gain weight, then you start not feeling like yourself. Like I told you, once I started not feeling like myself, is when I went immediately to correct it, and I started doing things to hold myself accountable for workouts. Where some people can not feel like themselves, and they stay in that space, and that's why I say they live in it, and they make that home now. And it's like, no, get back up, get back to and get back to feeling like yourself. And working out gives you those endorphins that make you feel good, and that hold you, like makes you feel like, okay, I don't want to eat too crazy because I done did all this work. You know what I mean? Yeah. So people have to get into that space, and I feel like even when it comes to like the NFL and how they're having these concussion settlements, I feel like it still needs to come with, instead of just paying people, we paid you this, now going about your business, is like still hold them accountable. Like, we paid you this, but we need you to make sure you have health insurance, and we need to make sure that you have a gym and a trainer to get yourself physically back into some type of, like, there needs to be some things with it instead of just giving money and saying, all right, they're out the way because we paid them for, like, because those things help. Yeah. And we talked a little bit pre-show about who got you sort of into tennis or inspired you in tennis, and I got an opportunity to meet her. And I'm glad she did. Yeah. And we're talking about Venus. Venus, yes. I'm glad she did, because that's very impactful for me, because now still to this day it's something that I do post retirement. I'm retired now 11 seasons, and this is something I still do for my health. You know what I'm saying? But I'm able to still be competitive. I'm able to problem solve and get cardio in at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And compete. And compete. Be competitive. So thanks to her, because I don't think I would have ever thought to pick up a racket. We were talking one day, and I was like, tennis shouldn't be too hard. Either just run and hit the ball. Like, she's like, what? Like, and she kind of like, it's a little harder than that. And then when I went out and tried it, I was like, oh, this is harder. Yeah. And then it became a challenge to me, because now to get good, they would have something called the Williams Invitational, where like a friends and family type of thing, a tournament, and we would play. And I was the team captain. Her and her sister was captains. She had another assistant named Jess. She would be the fourth team captain. And we started doing that. And I remember the first year we played, I was partners with her sister Isha, and I wasn't good. Yeah. And I feel like me and Isha probably lost in the first round or whatever. Yeah. And then the next year, Isha went and got her a new partner. Oh. And I got a new partner. Guess who I had to play in the first round? Isha. And Isha lost.
You beat him?
Yup.
Because you had improved.
I had went got lessons.
I didn't tell anybody. Her, listen, I learned how to play left tackle in 1 year.
Right. I had went and got lessons after that first year just not being good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like this is going to be something they keep doing.
Yeah.
So let me just go get lessons. So when I was in Minnesota, I went to Lifetime Fitness. Eric, his name is Eric. I went to him and started getting lessons, and I would play once a week with Eric and just learn. So by the time the whole year came by, I come out there and I was just a better tennis player.
Yeah.
And they was looking like, whoa, somebody got lessons? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, we mentioned this, but I think Venus to me, I had an opportunity to talk with her at the big conference I told you we did a fireside, and she is just like you use the term elegant. Yeah. I use the term regal. I mean, there's a aura that she has that is
definitely
just different.
Classy. Definitely has a lot of patience. I mean, she's given me lessons before as well, and I can see that being something because I feel like she really loves the sport. Yeah. So I can see that being something that she can transition into and being like a coach. Yeah. Like I see like some of these coaches who, you know, they travel and they go different places and teach people in different cities. I can see her transitioning and doing that because I feel like she loves the game and she has a lot of knowledge. Yes. And for her to be someone who's played 2.5 decades, like
that's very technical, in sort of her game.
And would teach you. The thing with her is she has patience. You know what I'm saying? And she has patience because she loves doing what she does. So I feel like she would make an excellent teacher.
Yeah. So I have two more questions for you. One is, two parts. So what about football would people not know? Just knowing you, people are going to watch this pod, knowing your, know your career. What would they not know about football that you could tell us here today that isn't too crazy? That
you can sometimes be in a huddle, or you could be on the line going through the cadence with the quarterback, and somebody passes gas, and all of a sudden you hear everybody yell like, "Oh my God, who did it?" And it's like in the middle of the play.
In the middle of the play.
Nobody ever thinks about stuff like that, but that happens. Happens a lot. And it's like, I hear it coming down the line like, "Oh, who was that?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's coming in." Like,
y'all nasty.
Somebody to pass gas, either in a huddle or like while you're in your stance. And the quarterback is going through the cadence. I bet you nobody's ever thought about that either. But it happens. I know, but that's something that definitely happens in the middle of games that no one's ever thought about before. But it's definitely, yes, it's happened a few times when I played, and I'm like, who is this? Like, it'd be a slight little distraction because you hear everybody like fussing about it.
Okay.
In the middle of the
maybe for the next pod, we got to give the people the questions ahead of time.
Why did you false start?
Because somebody false. That's hilarious.
But I never thought that, but it happens. It definitely happens.
And then the second part of it, what about Bryant McKinnie that nobody would know?
As far as football, nobody would know?
just about you as an individual, as a football player, whatever. That's something that they wouldn't know.
I basically had a rider. So basically every night after, we're in our hotel, we have all our meetings, we have a team snack. I always were required to have 2 boxes of cereal, 2 of the mini boxes of cereal each night before I go to bed. So like you have the team snack, I have a little snack, but then they always had my cereal to
and
the
that
side.
Was in the rider. That was in the.
That was like a fake rider because I never told nobody this, but like they always was like. After a while in Minnesota, they just knew like every city went, and it had to be certain brands too.
Yeah, which brands?
But it was like Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, or something. It was like 3 different ones. It was always those, and they would have 2 of each with my milk and everything like to the side. Like this is his. And then what's funny is when I went to the Ravens. It was like, we have your cereal over here. I'm like, who told you this? And then the same thing happened when I went to the Dolphins. I'm like, who's passing this down? Like, that they're already prepared. Like, that's why I say it's like I had a rider or something, because it's like, somebody would pass the message to the teams. When I got to the Ravens, like, here, we have your cereal here. I would go in there like thinking like, all right, I got to figure this out. But it's like, no, we have your cereal over here. I'm like, what?
So now everything you go to from now on, there'll be cereal. There'll be cereal there for you.
There'll be cereal there just waiting, like. Yeah. And I would have it the night before. Because I'm going to tell you this, right? I would have it the night before. Because 2 times, so another thing with me is superstitions, but it just a bad thing. But I could never order room service the night before a game. I order room service the night before a game because I must have didn't make team snack or something. I got injured and tore my meniscus in college.
Oh.
So I was like, I told myself I'm never ordering room service again.
Yeah.
I must have missed team snack again in 2007. I was like, I'm going to order room service. Maybe that was just a fluke. Why did I order room service? I tore my meniscus again in that same game. I never ordered room service again and stuck to my cereal and never again. Wow. The 2 times I ever ordered room service the night before a game, I went out there and tore my meniscus. So, yeah, I just got away from that and just was like, once the second time happened, I said, I'm never ordering room service the night before a game ever again. So that was it.
B Major Foundation. I know we talked about your commitment to health. I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us about that.
So B Major Foundation, basically, my mission statement is healthy kids, healthy living. So I try to do football camps, anything to keep kids active. I do things to kind of help single-parent homes, which is basically just a lot of families in the community. So this Saturday coming up, I host Year 13 for another charity. It's another company. I host their event. It's called Kick CF. It's for cystic fibrosis. Wow. The young girl, she was like 2 years old at the time. She had cystic fibrosis. Her family came to me and was like, we want to do an event. I said, well, let's do something fun. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like kickball's fun. Everybody can play. So we did a kickball tournament. This will be Year 13.
That's cool.
Her name is Delaney. So we've raised a bunch of money over the years for them. So what I've done is put together a tournament, and it used to be the winner of the tournament will play my all-star team, which is made of former players, basically. Guys that I went to school with or played in the league with. And but now, last year, I feel like the past 2 years, it's been like a raffle type of thing. And they pick people out of the raffle, and they play us kind of in the middle because they want people to still be there to see us play. Because we used to play at the end, so a lot of teams would be gone. So now we play in the middle. The tournament starts at like 8 or 8:30, so we'll play at 12:30 while teams are still there. The like the exhibition game. And people get to see the players and see us as well. So that'll be the Saturday.
And in a game that's not really. It's a different kind of game.
Yeah. So they get to see us outside of. But we're competitive. So out of 13 years, I feel like we only lost. Well, this would be 13. So out of the 12 years, I want to say we lost maybe 2 to 3 times. So we're about like 10-3.
10-3. He's keeping track.
9-2. Yeah. We're very
Yeah, you don't hold grudges at all.
I love kicking.
Yeah, you don't hold grudges at all. I mean, this dude, we're talking about Super Bowl champion. College champion, college Hall of Fame, saving the world, but I'm going to remember the score in kickball.
So we have that coming up. And then I also do, so basically I do mental health awareness, right?
Yeah.
So this will be year 4 for me. And it's an event that I do to bring awareness to mental health. That's why I do it in May, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month. But then also I use that to be able to get funding for the events that I do. So I do a back to school drive for the community.
Yeah, and we're going to work on some of these things together.
Okay, yeah.
Right, we're going to
absolutely. So back to school drive, I normally do turkey. It was called Operation Turkey. We used to give back 2,000 meals, but now I just want to kind of focus on just doing the turkeys instead of preparing the meals.
Yeah,
that's just way easier. So Operation Turkey, and then I do a toy drive. I give toys back to the community. So those are the 3 things. So I try to raise money to pay for all the stuff too. And fly the people in for the event, and then the money left over I use to kind of for the other events I do during the year. So to give back to the community, just being able to help, and I'm pretty sure these parents are happy. So when we're doing the back to school drive, we have barbers out there, we have food out there. So it's not just the toys.
Yeah, it's everything.
It's a whole experience. Yeah, barbers out there, they cut guys' hairs, the food, the bounce houses, all that type of stuff. Same thing when it comes to the toy giveaways. There's always a barber's so kids can get haircuts, things like that. That's getting back to the community. So I'm always trying to do things to give back, and then the mental health awareness event, I just feel like is a really good event. It just allows people to kind of get in there and share their story. Allow people, because we have questions from the audience too, so they get to ask questions, things like that too. So, and I like that. So they get to ask, questions and give feedback and things like that. So it's a good event.
That's awesome, and it's amazing that the story. That's why I kind of started with mental health instead of starting with somebody calling me. But that's why I wanted to start with mental health because and sort of end with it, because I really respect what you do, because it's a space that is very
difficult. It's a space
difficult.
that people are kind of scared to touch.
Yeah.
And I think because a lot of people aren't used to talking about things that may be uncomfortable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I feel like you have to kind of give people that feeling of it's a safe space, like, you know what I mean? And you're really here to help them and make them feel like, okay, I can open up, you know? And I just know, like, a lot of people who I reach out to, that they are in that space where they're willing to share their story to help others. So I appreciate them for coming on board, you know, and sharing. Like, one of my guests this year is Michael Orr. So he gets he's my former teammate. Yeah. So he gets to get up here and share his story and, you know, his journey through life. So I'm looking forward to hearing from him. Another person is a friend of mine, is Salt from Salt and Pepper. She's going to come on board, and she's going to, you know, share her journey. And I follow people specifically. I just watch things that they post and things that they say. Yeah. So with her, I just seen her getting in the gym and just getting things back together, wanting to get their publishing. I just seen a lot of things in her life. I said, okay, I would like to reach out and see if she wants to come and share her story. And she was definitely open to it. So that's amazing. I have a few just different people that are going to be JoJo Simmons, he's another one. So he has a podcast called For Good Podcast, and I did it, and like him and his sister Angela, they're all in that space of health and wellness and mental health and stuff like that. And he does a podcast where you only talk about good, like it's For Good Podcast. Right. So I was like, you should come on here, and that gives you the opportunity to even, you know, promote your podcast even more and things like that, so people are more aware. So. And he definitely said, yeah, it is. So I definitely have a few people and some more therapists and a surgeon friend of mine, Dr. Marvin. He's going to come on and just talk about just different things of how people may agree with losing a limb and things like that. Because we talked about that before. So it's a good lineup of people. Yeah. So I mean, we talked earlier. We've been going back and forth for a little while, and we get busy, but you know we're. Vituity Care is committed, like, you know, wherever you need us. I appreciate it. You know, wherever you need us, I think we can, you know. And vice versa. When you need me, just let me know, because I'll be there. And then I also want to commit here on in front of everybody, KD Hill. I want to link y'all up. Oh, yeah, absolutely. His story, he was on our pod, what was it, I think about a month ago. And I think that just with the, you know, it's the other, what I call the other side of winning. Right. Which is, you know, there's the great side where, you know, everything works out in your favor, or maybe, but the way the things go, it turns out in a way that you end up being a champion, or you end up being a professional. And then there's other people who have a different path. And what I love about what he said, which you've said here too, is that it's the path. Like I have to mention this because it was so profound to me. But he is trapped in this car. Trapped in the car, like he's in, you know, like he's in a rural town. There's no ambulance. He's trapped there, and his leg is trapped between the car and the tree. And he is going to be top 5 draft pick. Right. And me, I just know how I would be. I would be devastated because I'm seeing my whole life in front of my eyes, and he did not not one time think about football. Right, just show you how grounded it is, and how his faith is so strong, right, that he can be focused on. He's like, I just want to see my daughter. Right. I just want to get home. I want to make sure everybody is the other passenger okay. That's different. So, but I definitely want to link y'all up. What is one final thing that you want to say to the audience? You know, that you came on less than 1%. It's something that they'll remember. You know, as far as, you know, maybe it's a journey they're struggling with, or maybe it's a mental health issue they're struggling with, or maybe it's just, you know, some inspiration. I'm going to say this. You know, everybody has to go through struggles, right? So everybody goes through a storm. And when you go through a storm, it's raining, right? But guess what? After that rain, things grow. So you always have to look at it like this. I'm going through my growing season. So when that storm is coming down, I'm being watered, right? But this storm my mindset has always been as a kid. This cannot last forever. This hard time, this tough time, whatever I'm going through can't last forever. And that's probably why I'm in the midst of the storm. But when that storm ends, I definitely should be able to take away something from that storm. And hopefully don't have to repeat that storm because I didn't learn the lesson. Because I feel like when you don't learn the lesson is when God sends that storm back because you didn't learn and repeats it until you really understand and get what you need to get from that storm. That's amazing. Bryant McKinnie, we're both 6'9". As you can tell, I'm learning. I just got my therapy, but I really appreciate you being on the show. I know
you came. You know, you have a lot of travel, and I'm honored at the fact that you spend time with us. So thank you.
I'm honored for you to bring me out here. I thank you very much. Thank you for honoring me last year, the day after my birthday, which made it even better. So to acknowledge, some of the work that I'm doing in the community. So I appreciate that as well.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
You've been through the fire, but you did not burn. They didn't know you were forged in the fire. They thought you'd give up, but you proved them wrong. And all along, you were the less than one person.